Lioness Pride, and happy New Year's Eve. As we close out the year and look forward to a fresh start, we're excited to share a truly inspiring episode with you tonight featuring the one, the only, the incredible Limitless Lindy.
Lindy's story is all about breaking through barriers, embracing healing, and stepping into a life of endless possibilities. What a better way to ring in the new year than with her powerful message of strength and transformation. Let this replay remind you of the potential for growth and renewal that lies ahead.
Whether you're reflecting on the past year or setting intentions for the year to come, Lindy's journey will leave you feeling empowered and ready to tackle 2025 with confidence. Her insights are the perfect way to end the year on a high note. And we are so excited for Lindy as she goes on to this next part of her journey where she gets that excess skin removal. So please, if you could, support her by checking out the link in the description.
From all of us here at Lioness Lifestyle Live, thank you so much for being a part of our Pride this year. But we'll be back with fresh live episodes starting January 7th, and we can't wait to roar into the new year with you. So here's to health, healing, and limitless possibilities in 2025. Now, let's dive into this special replay with Limitless Lindy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie from Nourishment Redacted, and welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live.
And I'm Cristie with Meeting Wellness. I'm so excited to meet with you. Thanks for joining us this evening.
And I'm Hayley from Meet Is Where It's At. Get those questions ready, you guys, because you are going to love this guest. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with her, so please put a QQQ or 3 question marks in front of your question so we know to ask them.
And now it's time for this week's Roar of the Week. And every single week, we love for you guys to go in after the live is done and comment anything you like under any of the videos on any of our 3 channels. You can comment anywhere you like because I will go and hunt through. I will look at Ellie's channel, Hayley's channel, and my channel and find a comment to shout out. And we call that the Roar of the Week. So here's the one from this week. It's from Susie. And she said, Dr. Barry's recent interview on iodine was great. Lots of helpful info. I eat a bit of iodine-rich animal foods, and I put 1 drop of Lugol's 2% in my morning coffee. My fibrocystic breast disease pain is mostly gone now. So if you didn't watch our episode last week, iodine was a topic of discussion. And so Susie was commenting on that. So thanks so much, Susie.
I learned so much that episode. There was a lot. I was like, wait, everyone needs to take it. So I definitely recommend everyone to go check that out and to see Cammie's episode, of course.
Yes.
So I am so excited to bring our guest on. I mean, like every week I'm excited, but I'm like extra excited for our guest. So let's play that intro. Hi, welcome, Lindy.
Good morning, Lionesses. How are you?
That's right. It's morning where you are.
It is, yeah. I think Wednesday morning here.
That's so crazy. So, yeah. Okay.
Well, hello from the past. Hello from the past. Lindy, we're so excited to see you. Thank you for being on the show. If you could please tell our audience about yourself, your health journey, and all the way up to finding the carnivore diet, please.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm Lindy from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm 52 years old. I've got 2 beautiful daughters, 33 and 21 years old. I guess it started as a kid. I've been overweight all my life. I was raised in an Italian family. Food was always very important. You celebrate with food. Like every meal was a banquet. You had the breads, the cheeses, the salamis, the pastas, you name it. Food was just in abundance always. And food was always there, like if you're grieving, you're celebrating, you're happy, you're bored. Like it was just there all the time. And my great grandmother, she passed away when I was about 6, but she was a big part of my life as a young person, and she would always sneak us into her bedroom, into her little secret stash in her wardrobe of chocolates and things. And here you go. And they grew up in the war. They were very poor, and you come to Australia, the lucky country, abundance everywhere. And it was just their way of showing love. And, I guess that's where all my kind of bad habits stemmed from, that comfort eating and, yeah, I don't blame them at all, but it is something that I grew up with and had all my life. So fast forward, no, I was pretty much overweight all through my school journey. I got to about 21 years old. I was around 300 pounds, or no, sorry, 25. I was around 300 pounds, and tried diets. Nothing worked. Just nothing was sustainable for me. I struggled. Went to the doctors, and they said lap band surgery. That's going to fix you. I'm like, all right, sign me up. Anything. I was desperate. I wanted to be normal, and had to go on these OptiFast shakes for quite a few weeks to prepare for the surgery. Basically, it shrinks your liver so that they can get in there and put the lap band in. And I lost quite a bit of weight just doing those OptiFast shakes for the few weeks, and had the surgery. And after that, they sent me home. Couldn't eat. There was really no education apart from eat a balanced diet. But I couldn't eat anything. Nothing would stay down. I was throwing up, like everything, even just sipping water, and that wouldn't stay down. And just over time, it was miserable. The only thing I could get down was like sucking on a bit of ice cream or some chocolate just to get something in my tummy, just to stop the growls. But anything that was solid, or even if you pureed it, soups, it would all get stuck. Eventually, over time, I guess I've stretched the pouch, my stomach pouch enough that I was able to sort of eat. But then all those, it didn't fix the root cause of my problem, the comfort eating, and it's like I just didn't have an off switch. You would eat, and then within an hour you'd be hungry again and searching for the next meal. Where was it going to come from? So it's like I was always obsessed or consumed with food. So the lap band obviously didn't fix that. And the roller coaster started again. More dieting, binging, purging, you name it, I did it. My mum was diagnosed with cancer when I was 30, and my daughter at the time, she was 10, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, literally within days of each other. And so for the next 7 years, my life was just looking after my mum and my daughter, caring for them. I was working full-time as well, and just being there for my other daughter and husband. It's trying to stretch myself between all these roles. And my self-care went out the window. It was all about keeping everyone else happy, looking after them, making sure my mum and my daughter took them to hospitals and appointments and medical this. And my daughter also went through a really deep, dark depression. And with her type 1 diabetes, she was just flung from hospital to hospital. Diabetes would be, type 1 diabetes management would be one hospital. Then she'd be sent to another hospital for her depression. And I think it was just all hormonal things, but with the conflict on the two, it was hard. My mum was fighting to live, and my daughter was trying to kill herself every 5 minutes. And it was just a really difficult life, And my doctor sent me to a counsellor, and I had to sit down with them and tell them what was going on. And they're like, geez, you're doing really well considering everything that's going on in your life you've got no control of. Just keep doing what you're doing. And, if your mum passes away, you'll probably need me then. So she sent me home. I didn't feel like I needed counselling. My life was revolved around them. I was like a robot just caring for them, and they were my priority. So I did lose mum, and my daughter, she seemed to sort of snap out of her depression, her type 1 diabetes. She was managing okay. She moved out of home, and suddenly I was alone. Like, I still had my husband and my other daughter, but they were happy. They were well adjusted, and they didn't need me to care for them in that capacity. I didn't know who Lindy was anymore, and I'd lost mum. I felt alone, and I kind of fell into a really deep, dark depression, just a hole. And I was trying to, I don't know, I threw myself into work. I worked from home, so everything is email based, and I just ate. And I guess I was trying to fill that void, that hole that my mum had left. And I was in a bit of a slump or a funk, if you like, for years, and just kept putting on the weight and hiding away from the world. Had Zoom meetings and things with my clients, and all my clients are in the US. So I just pop a post-it note over my camera and just tell them my camera was broken, so they didn't see the person on the other side of the screen. They could hear me. I was very happy and go lucky on Zoom calls and things, but they didn't actually see what was going on. So it was almost like leading a bit of an imposter here. This cool Aussie chick that sounded pretty, they probably thought I looked like Barbie or something, and I was far from that. So by my 50th birthday, I'd reached around 800 pounds. I don't know the official weight because my scales only go up to 700, and for quite a few years I got error. Every time I stood on there was error. And I did get those scales because I saw the 1,000-pound sisters, the Tammy Slayton had those scales. So I bought those. And I'm like, if she can weigh herself, so can I. So when my heart just dropped when I stood on it and saw error, and I thought, my gosh, I'm bigger than her. How is that possible? I didn't even contemplate that I would be bigger than her. So that was really heartbreaking. And I just retreated. I didn't want to go out. I became pretty much housebound because I couldn't fit behind my car anymore, the wheel of the car. I used to have to recline the seat right back and just hold myself up driving. It was dangerous to drive like that. Got to the point where I just didn't go out at all. And my husband would occasionally take me out. We'd go and visit my daughter, and I'd be in the way. He couldn't shift the gears in the car because I'd be overhanging the seats. It was a struggle to get in and out of the car, and it was uncomfortable. So it's just much easier to stay home, and didn't go out much. People didn't come to see me. I was just quite happy to hide away and not be seen. The girls would, they were worried about me, and that was difficult. But I'd given up. I was depressed. I'd go to bed every night and I'd wake up crying because I'd woken up. I didn't want to be a burden on anybody. I didn't know how to fix myself. I wanted to diet. I couldn't. I'd last, a couple of days, if that, and then I'd just fall back into my old ways again. Or you diet for a week and you're so good, and then my hubby would say, oh, you've been all good all week, let's have a snack. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So it's just a really difficult place to be in. So my sister, she found keto and lost a lot of weight on keto and said, hey, check out Dr. Berry's videos. Here's his YouTube channel. And so I sat down and binge watched heaps of keto influencers, including obviously Dr. Berry. Thought, well, I'll give this a go. So I tried, and I was sending my sister pictures of my meals to try and keep myself accountable. She was trying to, pep me up and keep me going, but I struggled just, trying to track macros. Like I couldn't calculate my macros because I had no idea how much I weighed. So I found that was difficult. And then you look at a piece of food and it's like, how much fat is in this and how much protein's in this meat? And I had to be exact. Like if I couldn't work it out, it's like, how am I going to do this? It just didn't work. And then you have keto lasagna, keto cheesecake, and all these tempting things. And they just remind me of my comfort foods. I'm like, it's not fixing the problem. I still want to eat all that stuff. And because it's keto, can I have double portions? Like I just didn't have that off switch. So I failed. And then I saw Dr. Berry's Carnivore video and I thought, this guy is nuts. Seriously, just eat meat. And I was at breaking point. I was like, well, if I continue doing what I'm doing, like I've already got one foot in the grave. I wasn't going to last much longer. I felt terrible. My mobility was, I was almost, bedbound. I was getting to the point. I had chairs in every room of the house. And everywhere I go, I'd have to sit down and do whatever I had to do because I just couldn't stand up long enough to hold my weight up. So I thought, look, I can either keep doing what I'm doing and die, and it's a terrible thing to say, but do carnivore and maybe I'll have a heart attack and be off quicker. That was my train of thought at the time. And at least I'll end it, and then my family won't have to worry about it. They can get on with their life, and it'll be over. And I feel terrible saying that, but that's reality. That's how I felt. I was desperate and didn't want to be that person, that burden on my family. So yeah, I started carnivore, and I struggled. That was on my 50th birthday. I struggled for about 6 months on and off. I enjoyed doing it, but when your family's not on board, they were supportive of what I was doing, but they'd still eat in front of me. My husband would be ordering Chinese takeout, and here am I with my little piece of steak. And although I enjoyed my steak, that Chinese was really tempting. And then the desserts afterwards, and it was so difficult to get my head around and keep consistent with all of that. So I reached out to SBG Gang, and in particular Coach Emily. I'd seen her story. She was over 300 pounds and lost quite a bit of weight. So I really resonated with her, and I felt, she was a mum, she'd lost a lot of weight, and kind of, sort of in my boat. A lot of the other influencers didn't start off that large, and so I didn't really think they would understand, and started coaching with Emily. And she was very new to coaching, so she brought on Coach Raymond as well, because I was a big case. And started coaching, weekly coaching. And they sort of, the first time I actually turned my camera on and showed my face, and it was very confronting for me. And they were so beautiful, that just the way they spoke to me, and they just understood where I had been, and they helped me through the program. Now, I didn't really do the priming and feasting protocol that they promote like properly, because I was too far gone. I had so many issues and things I needed to deal with, the comfort eating and all that. So they just worked with me on these issues to the point that I could then, just be consistent with carnivore, and deal with the people around me, deal with the family, and just teach me how to get through all of that. So I did coaching with them for about 8 months, and then I've been on my own ever since. And they've literally given me all the tools that I need to maintain myself. And I'm still a big part of the SBG Gang. I'm now a moderator and learning to do some coaching with them as well, just to help other people who are, got a lot of weight to lose, and just to maybe lead by example and just share my story to help other people as well. And I've been carnivore 2 years and 2 months.
Wow. Oh my God.
It's
That's amazing.
transformed my life. Like, not just losing the weight. This morning I'm down to around 272 pounds. So it's still got a long way to go, but it's coming off, and it has slowed down a lot, and that's okay, because I'm getting out. I'm feeling great. I'm being there for my kids and living my life. And for me, this is for life. Carnivore works because it gave me that off switch that I have never, ever experienced in my life. I eat my meat, that off switch goes off, and I stop thinking about food, and I can go off and live my life, do whatever until I'm hungry again, which could be, 10 hours later or the next day. So, it's just day at a time, carnivore for me.
So I'm so glad, Lindy, that your plan to have a heart attack backfired on you.
So am I.
That's amazing. And I love that. I love something that came to my mind when you were talking was the subliminal messaging of your scale, when it said error, right? Something's wrong, right? That's your life should not be all encompassed by, your health, really. I mean, we should be healthy, but you shouldn't have this all encompassing life of like sickness and feeling bad and not being able to move and being, having low energy and feeling like you don't want to be here anymore. So I hope I have a heart attack. Like that's, the little error message. It just came to my mind, like, gosh, we have these like subliminal messages around us too, that like are kind of talking to us, and we just have to kind of take that and be like, I wonder if that means something for me. Like, what should I change or what should I do? And I'm so inspired by your story, because I kind of binge watch my 600-pound life too. And we used to, and now it kind of just gives us anxiety, like Garrett and I. We just kind of are like, oh my gosh, like I have an answer for you. You know what I mean? But like they've tried so many things, and I'm not. You're right. Like a lot of us can't come from that place that you were at, because it's a totally different world. I can't relate to that kind of feeling of like feeling like a stranger in your own body to that extent. And so just you reaching out and being like, I'm going to take a chance, even if you kind of were hoping for a different, at the time, outcome. It was the best decision that you made. And I see you out there just, cheering people on and spreading the message. And you can relate to so many of the world, so many people in the world that are at that point. And they're trying to listen to their doctor, and they're doing all the things, and they're getting. Is lap band the same thing as gastric bypass? Is that the same thing?
No, I think they actually surgically do things to your insides there, whereas mine, I've just got like a band that makes your stomach the size of a golf ball, and it sort of sections the rest off. So I still have that restriction, and it does interfere with my carnivore. I can't eat a full meal. I have to eat lots of little meals throughout the day. So I do tend to undereat quite a lot, and when I undereat, I stall. So then I have to do priming and just try and eat lots of little meals throughout the day for like 2 or 3 days, and then the scale drops, and you think, okay, well, I've just eaten all this food. Aren't I supposed to lose weight when I don't eat? Like everything's backwards, and it's a real mind struggle. So when people say, oh, you need to restrict and use calories and all that, well, I do that naturally, because I'm just not hungry now with this, I've got that off switch. I don't feel hunger anymore, so I don't eat, and then everything stops, and it's like my metabolism just tanks. It stops, and I need to eat to ramp it up again, and then the weight loss will start. It's like your body's saying, oh, you're going through a famine, I guess, and it shuts everything down. So it does mess with your head, and so that's why.
But you can relate, right? I mean, if someone comes to you and they're like, I've had a surgery like this, what do I do? Like, you've been there, you're figuring it out, you're learning. And like, you don't see a lot of people in this community that have gone through all of that. And so having these like little nuggets of information that someone watching this someday might be like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know this was an option for me. And I've, maybe they've had that surgery or some similar surgery. And then getting your coaching information out there too, when you go full blown, which I think you should. I think you should coach truly, but you can help those people. We can just go see Lindy, like that's just so amazing to me.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a question about priming. So what does that look like? I mean, how do you track that? Because it seems like you can't, your own hunger signals because of your lap band, you can't rely just to eat by that, because they tell you you're full all the time and then your weight loss stalls. So what does that look like when you prime? Do you track macros or anything like that? Or is it a given amount of food that maybe SBG sort of told you, or how does that work?
No, when you prime, you don't track anything. That's the whole purpose. You're priming to reset your hormones, to get rid, your satiety signals in order. Because if you're craving things, it means you're malnourished, and you need to stop that noise. So you just prime. You eat 3 meals plus snacks a day until you're comfortably stuffed, and that's usually a week or 2. Depends on the person, and there's different things to look out for. But that's why it's a good idea to join up with a group and just, find out how it all works. But for me, I couldn't eat 3 meals plus snacks. I struggle. So I have to break it into smaller amounts, and it could be like 3 or 4 bites every hour or every half hour.
Okay.
And that way it gives my, it'll go down, and then I don't have any issues with throwing up my food and that, which does happen quite a lot. So some days I'll eat a meal and then I just can't keep it down. And it's frustrating. It's expensive when you eat and then you're throwing up all this meat. It's just terrible. So you just have to take it slowly, pace myself. And yeah, look, if I had have known about carnivore when I was 25, I would have done that. My life would have been different. I would have had that off switch so much earlier. I would have, traveled so much more. And gosh, I can imagine what kind of life I would have had. But lap band surgery didn't work for me. It may work for some, but for me it didn't, because it didn't address the root cause of my problems. And my life could have been a lot different.
So David is wondering if it's possible for them to remove that lap band.
Yeah, I have heard that people have had it removed, but it's been inside me for 27 years now. I'm scared there's scar tissue around it, and if they try and remove it, are they going to do more damage? So I'm reluctant to even go there. Yeah, I have had a lot of people say just get it removed, but I'm just worried that they might nick something. Yeah.
That always makes me so nervous with surgeries. I think that you were finally putting yourself, like, I know that it didn't end up working out for you with the lap band surgery, but it seems like you're like, I'm going to do something for me. I'm going to like actually try to do something. And I'm sorry that didn't work, but I think it's, as you were telling your story and you were talking about feeling like a burden, with your not being able to see your family, and you kind of became like, you kind of became a clam. You closed yourself off, and then now look at you, like the sheer difference, and just making sure you have the best food for you, and that to me is just like the most beautiful thing, and now I'm sure you're seeing your daughters all the time and you're having lots of family time. And you had said that you felt like you wish that you had done this so much earlier, and I know those thoughts can come up sometimes, but I just want to say that you're here now, and let's look forward to the rest of your life being able to experience true joy. And you're taking care of yourself now, like instead of having to take care of others constantly and putting yourself last, now you are actually like all day, every day, it seems like when you are doing the priming, it seems like you are like, I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to make sure that I'm nourished so that I can, and I don't know, I just think that's so amazing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of faith in the doctors in the past, and the lap band was a big mistake for me. It didn't work, or I don't know what it was. But just when I started carnivore, I did go to the doctors. I wanted a full blood panel and told them I wanted to do carnivore, and they tried to turn me against it, saying that's a bad move, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, please give me 3 months. I just want 3 months to give this a go. And she eventually said, no worries, come back in 3 months, we'll do another blood panel. I reversed my type 2 diabetes, and all my inflammation markers had gone down. Everything, all my levels they were pretty bad. Everything was coming back into the normal range in 3 months. Sorry.
That's
awesome. And she was blown away, because in that time I had lost around 300 pounds. It's literally 100 pounds a month. And before everyone jumps on me, it wasn't fat, it was water weight. I had so much inflammation because I have lymphedema and lipedema in my body, and I was so inflamed, just full of fluid, and that basically just fell off when I went carnivore. And she just looked at me and she's like, what's going on? What's happened? And I said, I'm eating carnivore. Oh, okay. And then she gave me a lecture about leptins and ghrelins, and then said, when you fail, here's my card, come and see me for bariatric surgery. And I'm just like, seriously? So I took the card. Look, I'm keeping a card because when I get to my go away, I will be going to see her and say, look, I did this without you, mate. But I just
Good.
thought, really, that's shocking. And then just like 2 months ago, I went to see a skin removal surgeon because I'm thinking about having I've got a lot of loose skin in my stomach, and it does impact me a lot, just with mobility and my balance, everything. I've got about, what do you say? I think I'm trying to convert kilos and pounds and stuff, but I think I've got about 22 pounds worth of loose skin. So I'm really wanting to have some surgery on my stomach just to help make my life a little bit better. And we went in there and he's like, wow, you've lost so much weight. That's fantastic. I showed him my photos and he was just blown away. How did you do that? I said, Carnivore. And he goes, oh, you just eat meat? I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, not Ozempic? I'm like, no. And he said, would you like some? I'm like, no.
Yeah. Ew.
Like, why would I just lost 500 pounds and you want to give me Ozempic? Like, why would I want to do that? And that kind of floored me as well. But like, he was lovely and supportive and he goes, oh, okay, no worries. And then we just continued on with the consultation. But I guess he has to ask that. I don't know what it was, but
he likes the little bonus. He's putting in his shameless plug for the bonus he gets from the
Yeah.
pharmaceutical. Where's tinfoil hat? Tinfoil hat.
Oh, banner. Right
There it is.
No. I was kind of disappointed by that, but yeah, now with the doctors, I just like, whatever. I let them talk and I just agree with them. I don't bother fighting, and then I go and do my own thing, you know.
Yes.
So
I'd love to bring up this question. So I've been high fat carnivore over a year and have not been able to relieve my severe depression. I recently stopped doing butter, all dairy. It's been a few weeks, still feeling bad. Any advice?
Lindy, do you want to answer what you think about that? What's your input?
yeah, I've heard high fat's pretty good. We don't do much butter anymore. Todd and I, he's been struggling with depression a lot, and just recently we went on a bit of a fast, a 5-day fast, and even Michael did a 21-day fast, and afterwards he really went into a funk, a lot of depression, and started using tallow, just having extra tallow, and within an hour he really pepped up. I don't know if that could help. We just found the butter wasn't cutting it and we needed that tallow. But yeah, I don't know, sorry, but
yeah, I think there's a lot of factors that can go into severe depression too. And I think that a lot of times carnivore can be marketed as a cure-all for everything, like no matter what. And that's just not the truth. The truth is that, there could be other things in your environment. Maybe there's pesticides being sprayed around you. Maybe you're using, things in your home that could be affecting you. Like, we just don't know in this modern society what is affecting us and what's not. But I think you're on the right path. Like, a lot of people have been able to cure it doing the high fat carnivore, and it could just take a lot longer. Like, I go into a funk. I'm recovering from depression and anxiety hardcore, like just postpartum psychosis bad. And so I go into a funk, and then I come out of the funk and I go into the funks, and so don't feel like you're abnormal in this situation, especially in this community. Maybe you do hear that a lot, like, oh, I cured my depression, I cured my anxiety, when in reality, everyone is going through those ebbs and flows of that, especially in this world where we're always on the computer, always on our phones. Like, that affects you too. And so don't feel like you're abnormal. That's totally normal. And I think you're on the right path. Cutting out the dairy, I think, is awesome. Maybe try to do tallow like Lindy was saying. And if you're sensitive to dairy, you could try like, ghee instead of butter, because that's more pure and has less lactose in it. But yeah, that's my advice. I just think that you're doing great. Just, keep going, stick to that, and figure out what other benefits you're seeing in the meantime to kind of keep you motivated.
Yeah, I would say that I had a lot of depression and panic attacks, and I had some bounds of depersonalization disorder. So I was in a really dark period of my life. I was almost 250 pounds myself, and so I relate a lot to you, Lindy, with being obese. But I would say that, like, I agree that carnivore, it can sometimes feel like a cure-all, but I want to say that I feel like for me personally, it makes the bucket at which, like, I can handle stress, like, bigger. So I can go longer periods with feeling more at balance. And I would say that it would just, yeah, like, I just wanted to add that in. So it's like, I still, like the other day I was bawling my eyes out over something, and it's amazing to be able to say, like, how long I went between being really
Yes.
sad and being normal, because like that time period has grown so much over, I think I'm like 9 months into carnivore now. So keep going, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And stress also has a huge effect. I mean, I hope Garrett doesn't mind me sharing this, but he is not a stressful person, and we're trying to sell our home and move into another home, and then we switched homes, and it's like insane. And he thought he had a heart event the other night, 2 nights ago, and went to the ER, and like it was just crazy. Sorry, I'm getting some kind of crazy phone call here. Anyway, so but that was all stress related. So like, I had no idea really how deep that affects you when you're stressed out. How is it affecting your body? How is it affecting your life? Maybe it will cause depression, maybe it doesn't, and it causes other things like it did for Garrett. So there's so many factors, and I just want you to know, me and Ellie, and I can't speak for anyone else, but we all have those ebbs and flows. That's completely normal. And just keep on the path that makes you feel the best physically, and your mental health and your emotional health will follow. But I appreciate your question, and we're cheering for you.
Yes.
I don't really have much all that advice was fabulous, but I would just stick to it, because carnivore for sure is going to be the best diet for that, even if it is not going to necessarily cure everything. I will also echo the ebbs and flows. What Hayley was saying, I'm a teacher, and work has been very stressful, and I've had TMJ issues in college. They have not flared since college, and my jaw has been aching for like 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, that's how stressful work is right now.
Oh,
and
ouch.
so, yeah, it's really, there's just ebbs and flows to life, but the high fat carnivore is going to be the best thing for your brain. And I, I'm sorry that, you feel like you've tried everything and that you're still going. So just keep going. And as Hayley said, we're in your corner. So,
Yeah.
Lindy, I wanted to ask you about a little more about your trip to the skin surgery. Did you get any news about that? Is that surgery going to be possible for you, or what's that going to maybe look like?
Yeah, we're still waiting. I have to go back to the doctors on Friday and get a referral to a heart specialist too. Because I was so overweight, they're concerned that my heart might not be very good. Just out of precaution, I guess. I've got no issues with that. I'm sure I'll fly with passing colours. So once I get the results back, they then give it to the anaesthesiast, who then will make a decision, yes or no. So
Okay.
yeah, just waiting on those results.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in. I'm sure you'll be sharing that on your channel, so I'll be waiting for that news. I've been excited for you and hope that will go through for you. I also wanted to ask, because we have something in common in that my son and your daughter both started eating the proper human diet recently for different reasons. My son because of his ADHD, and your daughter for the type 1 diabetes. Can you share a little bit about that and how she's doing now, and how that's going for her?
Yeah, my daughter, she's been type 1 diabetes, had type 1 diabetes for 23 years. So she's 33 years old now. And her management hasn't been too good. She's always had issues with her blood levels spiking, I know we do our measurements different here in Australia. Like normal is between 4 and 8 for us. She's been spiking to 27, which is super, super high. And they doctors and endocrinologists, they couldn't tell her why. They just say, oh, it's the dawn effect. But this would happen at different times of the day. And just a couple of months ago now, one of her eyes hemorrhaged and the other one was on the verge of hemorrhaging. So she's literally lost sight in pretty much both her eyes. Or she can't make out people's faces, she can't read anything, she can't drive at the moment. It's pretty grim. And doctors told her not to change your diet, just, we might need to do surgery. There's got so much blood in her eyes that they couldn't actually see what damage has been done. And she decided to just, this is something's got to change. I need to do carnivore. I need to try and fix this up. And she's just seen all the healing results that I've been through. And she's been doing a little bit of research and said, there's so many testimonials out there. Maybe this will help fix her. Like, we know the damage is done, that she's not going to fix it. Yeah, but she may improve some of the systems or slow down the progress or whatever. So it's probably been, 7-8 weeks now, carnivore. She is driving again. She's able to read. She's still not 100, she's still a little bit blurry, but she's safe enough to drive, short distances and things like that. She's going in for another set of scans on Monday. So we're hoping that things are looking a little bit better. I think she may still need to have surgery in her eyes. They have to drain the fluid out of her eye to get rid of all the blood and then refill it, just so they can see what kind of damage is in there. But we're feeling confident. Just the diet change, maybe regulating her levels. She wears a CGM, so all her markers, everything was red bars all the time. Now she's getting green bars, like to say she's more in the normal range. So if anything, she's excited that she's finally worked out what the issue is with her levels, and it was a carb issue. Something that she's been eating has been triggering her, and then she was still getting a few high spikes, but more sort of 15. And she sent me a message this morning saying that they've actually upped her depression medication because that apparently lowers your cortisol. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe high fat would be better for her. But I said, well, do that and see how it goes for a couple of weeks, and then maybe wean back to a smaller dose and see what happens. If it goes up again, then well, it is the cortisol that's causing that spike. But she's got the knowledge now that she can just tweak things and experiment on herself, because the doctors are all they don't really look outside the box. They're just like, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill. But if there's a way that she can reduce her cortisol levels and not have a pill, wouldn't that be a better option? So and she said, oh, that's a really good idea, Mum. I'm going to try that. So I'm really so proud of her for actually taking charge of her health. She's listening to the doctors, hearing what they say, and then she goes home, does her research, and then she will, safely do what she thinks. And if it fails, she'll go back on the full strength. But at least she's, just finding a way. She's loving the diet. She's just eating meat. She's not missing her fruit and veg and all that. Is like I think she misses a few vegetables, but it definitely, the result she's getting has made her want to continue with this. So yeah, very proud of her.
I'm
Oh my
crying.
goodness.
I'm crying again. Every
That's
episode,
so
I'm
amazing.
crying.
Yeah.
You know what I
Look,
think
it breaks my heart. She's a florist. She's got her own business, and she's got a bunch of staff under her. And this little business of hers got her out of her depression. So if she was to lose her business, and that's what she does. She creates beautiful arrangements all day, weddings and things like that. It'd just break my heart if she lost that. So yeah, it's very important that she keeps it. Like she says, if anything, I wish I'd be deaf. At least I can continue working and I could see what I was doing. But I've been driving her around. I'm actually leaving after this live stream to take her to the flower market to buy flowers, because it's a 2-hour drive. So I'll pick her up, and at 1 a.m. we head down to the market, and that's our weekly trip now. We do that every week. And, it's just amazing being able to help her now. Like if this happened 2 years ago, I couldn't have helped. I was stuck on the couch. I couldn't move, couldn't walk out of the house. I am now climbing into her van. There's like 3 steps to get into her van.
Yes.
And I can lift my butt and sit on the seat. It's like a big bus, and I'm so proud of myself. The very first time she said, "Oh, Mum, would you take me to market?" I'm like, "How am I going to get in your van? I'm going to need a ladder, and is that going to hold my weight?" But yeah, I didn't need one, and yeah, I feel so proud of myself for being able to
my
that's one of the best
be here.
non-scale victories I've heard. You can lift yourself 3 steps into a van without a ladder.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
I just
amazing.
love how you
Yeah.
speak about yourself too. Like I can't imagine that back then that you were ever able to say, "I'm proud of myself," right? And some other people might think like, "Well, that's not a big deal. Like I've been able to do that my whole life." And it's like, but you don't realize until you can't pick yourself into a car and sit down that like that's a huge deal, or step up a couple steps of stairs. Like that is the biggest change that you could possibly have in someone that was suffering like you were, and I'm just, you made me almost cry a little bit, because it's like, I'm proud of myself. Like, look how far I've come. And that's just huge. I'm proud of you. I'm just like so in awe of your inspiration. You're just amazing.
Yeah, it's hard. You still get a lot of, pushback occasionally. Like I've had a few comments saying, "How can you be proud of self? Look at what you did. How the hell did you get yourself to that stage?" I'm like, well, nobody plans to get this size. I didn't plan for this to happen, and I wanted to get out of it, but I didn't know how. I was broken. Something in me was broken. I didn't have that off switch. And, people around me eat more than I do. And it just, people will think, "Oh, that's bull crap." It's not. I have a lot of friends that eat a hell of a lot more and rubbish. They don't put on the weight. And, I don't know what it is. Everybody is different. I do feel like something was broken, and whatever that thing that was broken, Carnivore has fixed that for me, and I call it the off switch. I never had that off switch, like and I'd go all day and not eat. I would eat at night, and which is weird because I've got this restriction. I'd sometimes, it'll take me 2 hours, but I would just constantly just eat, and it was just really weird how everything sort of works.
Yeah.
But,
the thing is too, like people can label it like, well, why did you let yourself get to 800 pounds? And it's like, well, first of all, some people are predisposed to gain more weight than other people. And like, we could have eaten similar, you know what I mean? And someone might not think that, anyway, they might not understand your journey to get to that point, but like so many different people. And I'm going to use an example. I'm not going to use the name, but there's a really famous person who he was like in the military, and he runs these marathons to the point where he breaks his feet, and he's like super fit and like goes through these things. And it's like, is that not an illness where you don't know when to stop? It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like just because he's fit doesn't mean that that's not a problem, that he's not damaging his body. And so we just need to give more grace. Let's give more grace to people. We don't know where they're at on their journey. I may not understand that guy, and he probably doesn't understand me, and that's okay. Right? And people might not understand you and how you got there. But it doesn't matter, because all of us have been sold the same things, and we're all just trying to undo what we've been taught and told and kind of just like pushed into, not by our own will, because we're just a product of our environment.
Yeah.
You guys. I know, the tinfoil hat. I'm always,
I love it.
I'm going to connect the tinfoil hat to the top of this so that like I'm just always wearing it.
So I wanted to make sure we talked about Thelma's question here. She says she's 80 years old, carnivore for 6 weeks. So first of all, that is amazing that at 80 years old, you made that change to carnivore. But she does say, "I'm so fatigued most days. Anything I can do to get energy back? Thanks." And my first question has to do with Do you think that you're fat adapted yet? Because that can take time to transition over. And until you're fat adapted, yeah, you're not really able to use that fat for energy, and you might feel a little low on energy. And then electrolytes. Are you taking electrolytes? Those would be like my 2 suggestions. Anybody else?
What do you think, Lindy?
Are you eating enough? That's always a
Yes.
big sign of being fatigued. And also, you are transitioning. If you've gone full-blown into carnivore from a sad diet, your body needs time to adjust. It's like an alcoholic or a smoker. You're cutting a habit and you get worse before you feel better. And I think, sugars and carbs are just as addictive, and you are going to feel worse before you start feeling better. And I think that happens for most people. Some people, they can just bounce in and, they feel great straight away. Other people do struggle. So I'd give it a bit more time. And, definitely, if you're not eating enough, you might need to bump up some food or,
I hit a stall recently, like Lindy was saying, and I had no idea about priming and making sure you have the nutrients you need. And Thelma, I'm not sure like where you're at. Like Lindy said, she wasn't supposed to prime because your body was already at that point kind of where it's like, okay, now we need to cut back and figure that out. Not cut back. I'm sorry. Bad language. You should eat a certain type of food. And anyway, that was her journey, but I don't know where you're at. But for me, I was not eating enough. Like I stalled for like 4 months and had no idea about priming and making sure that you're loading up your body with nutrients to the point that your body's like, oh, wow, there's an abundance. You know what I mean? There's an abundance around me and I'm not experiencing a famine. So maybe, and you are at the beginning, like Lindy said, there's no timeline for each person. It's completely different. I don't think I was fat adapted for like, I would say 5 months. It took me a long time. I was low energy too. So I would just keep pushing forward, maybe eat a little bit more if that's kind of what you're thinking. Or if you were kind of in Lindy's position where you feel like maybe, I don't want to use the word too far gone because I don't think that's a thing, but if you've gained a lot more weight than maybe the average person, then I would say maybe join the SBJ coaching, talk to Lindy. Maybe you could probably head over to Instagram and get a little bit more of a one-on-one, but if she's willing, I'm not speaking for her.
No, absolutely.
But she has more experience with that, especially. And so I so appreciate you, Thelma, putting yourself out there and like giving it a go because it's never too late. Never too late. And Aid just said that. Never too late to get healthy. That's right.
Hayley, you're like the best cheerleader ever. Go you. You're on fire.
Yeah. Oh, I just embarrassed myself.
No. I was dancing earlier.
Oh my God.
It's just such a fun time always. Do we have any other questions from our
Let's
see.
Peoples? I don't think I've got any. Lindy like covered it, man. She's got like a well-rounded.
Oh, here's one.
Ooh.
I missed one. How did I start it? But I forgot that I started. So Agape wants to know, Lindy, how did you feel in 1 week's time when you started on carnivore? So like in the first. It's been a while because you're over 2 years.
Oh, sorry. I don't know whether I stalled then, but I didn't get any of that.
Oh, okay. So how did you feel in 1 week's time when you first started on carnivore? So like at the very beginning, what was it like?
I was completely frustrated. Lots of information out there, information overload. I didn't know what to do. This is when I was contacting my coaches. I wanted to know exactly how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat I should eat. And then you hear all these sardine fasts and all these other things and high fat, low fat. And I wanted them to give me tell me, exactly how much I needed to do. And they were like, just eat until you're comfortably stuffed. I'm like, no, I need figures. And it would drive me nuts. Yeah. And just getting rid of that mindset was difficult. And for months I hounded them about it, and I would end my coaching calls crying because it's like they didn't tell me how much to eat, and I just didn't know what I was doing. And I still found myself restricting food. I was not having fat. I'd lost so much hair because I was cutting back on fat, because fat's supposed to make you fat. And I did more damage to myself with all the worry and all the bad knowledge that I had. And it wasn't until I let all of that go months and months and months later that my hair stopped falling out and all the pain in my body. Like I've had a lot of pain from carrying so much weight around. My joints were all failing. Now I can get up off the chair. I don't feel pain. I thought I was going to have a hip replacement because I felt like my hip bone was going to fall out of the socket. That's all gone. Like I'm walking properly now, and that's just by having extra fat and doing some priming. And just I'm kind of lucky I didn't have to weigh myself, because ERR was all I saw for the first 3 months. And when I for years, and then 3 months after I started Carnivore, I hopped on the scale, and then I finally got a number. It was like, wow. But I didn't weigh myself at all, and because I just didn't want to see that error message, because I thought that's just going to keep derailing me if I did see it. So I was kind of blessed in that way that my scales didn't work, because I wasn't focused on a number. And look, I guess inflammation was going down, and like my legs weren't as inflamed and like it's swollen, and I was getting a little bit more mobile, but I still just mentally, this is taking way too, it's not fast enough. I want results yesterday. I want to lose a bunch of weight. I want to look like Bella from SVG Gang. And it's like, I just had really high expectations, and it just seemed to be taking forever. And then I'd be seeing other people, I'm at 1 year carnivore, 2 year carnivore. And I'm like, am I ever going to get to that? I just didn't feel like that was going to happen to me. And now 2 years, 2 months, here I am, and I have shrunk, and I'm getting my life back, and I can look back, and it's like I've blinked. 2 years and 2 months has just gone. And look, I'm proud of myself again that I've actually managed to sustain this way of life and keep going. It has been hard. It was very hard at the start, but I had to keep reminding myself, this is my journey. I'm doing this because I want to be here for my girls. I want to be living life with them, doing stuff with them. I don't want them to be coming here and treating me like an old person, being here, cleaning up after me and doing all those things, because I can fix this. I can fix this. They don't need to, I don't have any cancer and things like that, which, this is something I can fix just by what I eat. And I made that decision, invested in my health. Like, people say meat is expensive. I'm saving so much money not buying takeout and doing all that stuff, and investing in coaching and investing in SBG Gang. That's important to me. And, stop buying the carbs and just put a little bit of money into coaching and whatever. And it's definitely made a big difference in my life. It's given me the tools that I need to move on. So was that a bit long?
No, that was a great answer. Charlie says that you've accomplished so much so far and are quite the inspiration. What's next for you and your channel?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I need to do another update. I'm a bit behind in that, because I've been spending a lot of time with my daughter, with her, with her condition. I've been driving her around a bit and stuff. I've also been put on the Healing Humanity documentary committee, and I'm now maintaining their website and emails, newsletters, things like that. So I'm helping out in that way as well. I do hope to get some more updates on my channel. Still doing 700 pound plus and counting down with Todd and Michael. I love those guys. The three of us are just, every day we talk. It's been wonderful. We keep each other motivated, and it's just good to have a little network of people who understand, and just love them to death. And I've started a live stream with Emily, my coach. So we do one every Tuesday. That's can be your Monday, I think. And that's been going well, just about carnivore, motivation, and people can sort of ask questions with her being the coach, and we just have a chat, just like buddies. It's just awesome to have, be with her. And I do an Aussie Carnivore Connection live stream as well, trying to spread the news here in Australia, because there's not many Aussies that I know of that do carnivore.
Well,
And,
you guys, I guess he's not Australian. Never mind. Dr. Chafee's not, but he's there.
He's
so does
in
that count?
Australia.
He's in Perth.
Yeah. Well, I do hope that if you do get the skin removal surgery, that you will, show that maybe in a vlog. I would love, and I'm sure lots of other people, at that point in their journey, that's got to be kind of scary, to get to that point and be like, man, this would make my life so much better. But then maybe you're struggling to trust doctors at the same time, you know what I mean? And so I'd love to see that if you're willing to share, just maybe an idea.
Oh, absolutely. I will definitely share as I go along. I mean, there's other people that are in my position, and I hear a lot of people are really fearful of having loose skin. I'm like, I'd have loose skin over being 800 pounds any day, and it is what it is. If the surgery fails and I can't have it for, financially or, medically, they won't allow it. Well, I'm fine with that. It's, I can put up with it, but being 800 pounds, I will not put my family through that or myself anymore. That is a terrible way to live, and I will never go back there. So that's a big fear, as spiraling, and that keeps me on track now, especially if we go out. Like, I couldn't moderate anything. I do feel like I can moderate a little bit now, and like if we go out, I might have a little vegetable or something here. I might just take a bite here or there. It doesn't sort of faze me, and I know as soon as we get home, I'm back on track, and I'm really good with the moderating now. But it's something that I could never do before. And I attribute that all to carnivore, just giving me that off switch, and just giving me that food freedom that I never had. So
Wow.
I love it. That's awesome.
Well,
Ellie, I saw that you were I saw that you were shouting out her channel. So if you guys missed that, we put it in the chat. The Limitless Lindy, please go follow her and support her channel, so that she can get this message out to lots of other people who need to hear it.
Yeah.
As you were describing your channel, I was like, might as well just show the channel, like type it up.
Yes.
I know that we're also
I saw that
inspired
question.
and
I was like, perfect time in the show, because that's usually when we shout out the channel. Do we have time for the meaty wheel, ladies?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we have a meaty wheel that we like to spin around here, Lindy. So here it is. And I'm going to spin this wheel, and we're going to see if we can hunt down a question for you.
Get it, guys? Hunt like lionesses. Anyway.
Okay, we did hunt down a meaty question for you. Meat-based eaters will commonly talk about how they feel like they are reversing their age. They feel younger. Do you agree with that?
Oh, well, I think a lot of the carnivore community does, because whenever I post a photo of me and my girls, they're like, oh, you guys look like sisters. So I'll take that.
Yes.
All day. That's awesome.
So, yeah, definitely. I agree. And age is just a number. It's how you feel. I feel better and I look better than I did in my 20s. Like, I'm actually way less than I did in my 20s right now. So I'm stoked with that. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's
definitely
fantastic.
And Dr. Chafee says we'll live to 120 now. So
yeah,
I'm all good for that. And I'll be a healthy 120.
Sandra says Dr. Chafee is just 5-hour drive from her, so she could stalk him.
Oh,
Don't do that.
Hey, you know what? He's not locked down yet. Just saying.
I met another Australian who said that she shops at the same butcher as he does, and I'm like, oh really? I need to come and visit.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh,
my
well,
never.
you guys, we're
On that
we
note.
must- it must be
On
getting
that
late. Oh, well, should we do the roar? You
I
guys?
think we're ready to roar for sure.
Put your roars in the chat. I just saw, is that David? He's not locked down yet. Anyway,
Yeah, Lindy, get your roar ready because I don't think
Yes.
I told her. I think I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
tell Lindy
no,
about that.
I
Well,
don't
she
know.
watches our show sometimes. I mean, I've seen her, but I don't know if
Yeah.
you watched it to the end. You might not
I
know
haven't
about the
seen
roar.
the roar. No.
Oh, okay. All
Well,
right.
you just
Whoops.
give your best roar, your best meow, no barking, no howling, you know.
We're
even though
lionesses around
My
here,
little
you know.
my dog over here, she can do that. So we'll
I'm glad my
give that
birds
to
are locked
her.
up.
That's species appropriate, Hayley.
Oh
so
my
I think that's fun, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna count down and then we all just roar together. And we've already got some in the chat. So ready? 3, 2, 1.
Roar! All right, Lindy, that was great.
Woo! Let's
That was
see.
great.
Jessica, thank
Yay,
you. We've got BK. Oh, they're coming in
BK, all right.
fast. Karen.
Yay, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Very kind. That's close.
Err.
Close.
It's a piratey
Yes.
style roar, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Roar yawn. I'm tired too. That's very true.
Yeah.
Roar, Christ
Ooh,
is
and we got a
Lord.
lion
Love
emoji.
that.
Like it.
Deb, thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
Oh, get the
Thanks,
picanha.
Yeah.
Roar, roar, roar.
There we go,
picanha.
Eric. Roar, 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 your picanha boat.
Thelma, roar. Thank
Yes,
you.
Thelma.
And
awesome.
we are so excited for you. Please keep us posted.
Yeah,
Come
tune
back.
in and come back and let us know how
Yes.
you're doing, Thelma. That's inspirational. And look
Nia.
at Nia with a nice long roar.
Really the R. I can hear the R
And-
rolling.
Meow.
We
Okay.
like the meows too. Those were great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
everyone. Well, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Lindy. This was a fantastic conversation. We appreciate you coming on, and we hope everyone comes back next week. We will have another awesome guest for you guys. Till then,
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
bye, everybody.